Alright, so it's recording. It's recording. It's about my situation. After I separated from Bertha in August, and I started working. And that's where this recording is gonna take place. So this recording takes place from August to right now, but so pretty much I started working. I went to work, and I worked at this job, but it sucked, so I quit. And then I quit, and then 2 days after that, I got called back from another job, and they called me back, and I went, and I went into the interview. I don't want to talk about names here yet, but if this becomes, see, because this gonna be used. I'm not playing around. This has the potential to be used for legal reasons for the company because the companies have been doing this to me for a long time. All right, and the reason why they do it to me is because they know they can get away with it, and that's the thing that I'm trying to point out. And the reason why they know they can get away with this because they understand that in order for you to combat it, you either have to go to work, or you either don't go to work and you combat it. But if you don't go to work, then you can't combat it because then you have no way of getting to the. And you have no way of getting to there, unless you have friends and family. But in situations like this, they go out of their way to turn those friends and family against you. I know it sounds crazy, but it does. Certain ones will turn their back on you because once it starts getting into legal action, they don't want to get involved with that. Nobody wants to get involved in legal action unless it's about them or pretty much they have to. So what happens is that when, if you have a friend that he has a legal situation, you're not gonna get involved because you'd be stupid to get involved, because once you get involved, then you're putting yourself on the record for them, and then you become part of their. Pretty much, if they fall, you fall with them, and so for that reason, they won't, your friends and family, even though they care about you, they won't back you up because you gotta understand that a lot of the stuff that's put there is put there to put you in control and put everybody in control, right? Not just me, everybody, right? So what happened is that at the place that I was working, I already explained this in, I think it was like tape 10, right? It's a third party. It's a third party. It's a third party resource, but it's not. It's a third party system, but they have it a little bit different. All right. So I already explained to it in the other recordings how it works. All right. So I was gonna give a quick example. So pretty much, that company is set up for liability purposes. Right. So in order for them to claim liability in a third party system, they need somebody that's not connected to the actual company to pretty much to lay their hands on the product. And as soon as they touch the product, then they become liable for that. And since everything's being recorded for liability reasons, because since the government doesn't want the government doesn't want everybody doing this, because like I said, if everybody's doing this, then there's no way of benefiting off of it. All right. So what they do is that they make it hard. They make it hard for you to do it. So even though you know this information, even though I'm giving you this information, once you actually go try to apply it, then you start finding out that there's other regulations there that need to be met before you get that. So all I'm doing is pretty much I'm getting you interested in the concept, all right? And after that, it's up to you how far you take it, right? So what happens is that they know, the people that make that system, once they figure out the system and they make it, they know that other people are gonna come by and figure out the system. You working there, if you work there if you work in a place in enough positions, you can figure out the company. And if you work in a place and you know enough people, but I mean really know them. I'm not just saying acquaintances or oh hey, what's up, dude, and you really don't know nothing about his life. That's not what I mean. I mean if you actually know what they're doing. And I don't mean you know about the personal life, because like I said, this is not about the personal life. This is about the company. All right. So if you know enough information about a company on how it works, see, within that company, you're really powerful. But the thing is that the owner is going to see you as a threat because you have the potential to pretty much you have the potential to become the spokesperson for that company. And once you achieve that, then it creates a loyalty to the person, right? It creates a loyalty to the person, and I have like I said, I'm gonna keep mentioning her name because like I said, I'm a lonely person for a long time. You know, for a long time, it was just her and my son that were just kicking it, just hanging out, and right. So I would try to explain this to Bertha. Like I would try to explain it to her that sometimes all companies need is they need somebody to pretty much to take the blame, but without taking the blame, right? So what happens is like let's say you work at a company and you're the person that works there. So pretty much they put you there for you to get all the complaints. See, you're gonna get the complaints from the other owner. See, all the complaints are gonna go through you, and you're the shield. You're the shield for their ego. See, you're the shield for the ego between the owners. So when the owner talks smack about, when company 1 owner talks smack about company 2 owner, then the rep, you take all the crap, right? Because he's gonna talk to you with anger, and he's gonna talk to you the way that he wants to talk to him, but he knows he shouldn't because there's money involved. All right. So then what happens is that you have to deal with it, and you have to put up with all the cussing and them telling you, oh, you guys are fucking idiots. You guys got my order wrong and this and that, and then you gotta be able to handle it and keep it cool to talk to them respectfully, even though they're disrespecting you. And that's the thing. See, in the process of doing that, they're creating this open spot where people getting hired are gonna get programmed to be able to be disrespected, but respond back in a way that is respectful. See, and there's a power to that in itself, because either you learn to deal with it and you become okay with it, or you don't and you realize that's enough for you and you move away from that kind of job, right? But then at the same time, you learn to deal with you learn to deal with hard people. And I don't mean hard people, hardcore people, because anybody that's hardcore people, if you're working, it's because you're soft. If you have your nice house, it's because you're soft. If you have your nice car, it's because you're soft, dude. Okay? I don't care what you think. You are better. If you think you're better than me, that's what you think. And I'm saying this to anybody, to females. I don't mean to offend you, and I know it might sound petty, and you're like, oh, he just mad because, he's about to be homeless, and, if that would be the case, then it wouldn't be understandable. But it's not, because I've always seen it like that, right? Right? All the people that work and they pile up their money because they're scared. They're scared that, they fear these situations, and I understand. So that's why they do good, and that's why they act like assholes at work, because they'll fight you. They'll fight you all the way, just so they're not the ones that end up like that, because they're scared. See, and they don't see it like that, but I see it like that. So that's why I don't do it, because see, I see it like that. See, that's the way I see it. See. So then what happens is that, you have nice people that turn into shitbags, because in order for them to keep their job that sucks, and and that just doesn't make any sense. It's like, why you want to keep a job that makes you miserable, to live in a place where you don't like? And see, so when that situation, when the answer is because you have to, then it's not optional. All right, so then that means that the government needs to step in and start regulating everything the right way, because it's not optional. Life is not optional. All right. So, choosing to live in an apartment is not optional. Choosing to have a job is not optional. So, then they need to provide. They need to provide the jobs, and they need to provide the jobs, and they need to provide the transportation. And anytime there's an issue, they need to be the ones that look into it. You don't need to be the one You don't need to be the one that goes and looks into it. They need to be the ones to look into it because they're the ones that are in charge to making sure that the system is running right. See? But the reason why I'm saying that a lot of the times they don't is because they're not running the money off of the product no more. The product is not the money no more. They're running the money off of the liability because they bump up the price. They get their benefit early on, and pretty much once they get the benefit, the owners, they're cool. They go in, they kick back, and all the product is actually getting shipped out and being sold into retail. No, they don't care for that. So they let the managers in the warehouse deal with that, and they go in, they have their fun. They're not in the company. They go in, they have their fun. All right, and what happens is that sometimes the owners, they get smart, and instead of having fun, they try to do a company within a company. But then a lot of the owners, they do it in a way where it's borderline illegal. All right, because that's why the government has regulations, because they know they don't want just anybody doing the company. They want to know who's doing the company and who's providing what. Because they need to keep track of it. Like I said, I'm not against the government. I'm for it. They need to keep track of it, and I'm all this recording is to say that I'm for the government, and I'm telling the government that I need to be part of you guys. I'm the one that you guys have been looking for a long time. That's what I'm trying to say, right? In any regular situation, you would not get access to. You would not get access to You would not get access to me. All right, you guys have been trying to get access to me for a long time, and you guys haven't been able to do it because I know what you guys are doing. I see it. So you guys don't think it, and you guys refuse to acknowledge the fact that I see what you guys are doing, and I'm not telling you. This is me calling your attention to me, that I deserve to be working with you guys. See? And I know this is a concept that is going to be hard because the government is not one person. Even though there's a president, the government is a body of many people, and the government is a body of many people. And see, I'm speaking to the government as one person, and that's why this makes it hard, because the government is not just one person. The government is many people, and if the right people in the government don't hear this conversation, then this conversation doesn't do anything for me in that aspect. But no matter what, like I said, this is an experiment. So on top of it, this video, these recordings you guys have no idea, but these recordings have many purposes. If these recordings serve a purpose, these recordings are gonna be used for a lot of stuff, like over the years. Like these recordings, if these recordings serve their purpose, you guys will hear this recording over and over again throughout your life in one way or another, whether it's embedded in music or in TV or in books or in posters. See? But these recordings are going to be important, right? And right now I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the time because, like I said, I have to the end of the month to move out. So I'm just kind of I'm just enjoying the time. It sucks because I don't have anything to do. And if I wanted something to do right now, I had to go out there and socialize and start talking. But I know that if I do that, I'm gonna keep getting stuck here. I'm gonna keep living here, and I don't want to keep living here because, in this apartment where I'm at, this is where me and Berta and my son, next to us, we spend most of our time. Well, I would say more me and my son. Okay? Like I said, Berta was working. She was working and she didn't care because, like I said, she was having her own fun on the side, and I think that's a fair game. She's having her own fun on the side, and yeah, obviously she was lying to me about it because we didn't ever talk about it like that. But like I said, that's why the two of us, we didn't ever like, that's why we didn't ever like, pretty much that's why our relationship didn't ever achieve anything, right? Because, she kept trying to play this stupid game that I don't know, like, see, I know she didn't ever love me, like, she never had feelings for me like that, like, I didn't never manage to make her feel like that for me. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, and I know that, like I was good to her, like, earlier on, like I said, from 2000, from 2005 to 2010, I worked a continuous job because, like I said, like, I know the way she is, but no matter what, like I was trying to do, like I said, I was trying to do everything right. So for 2005, 2010, I was working for a company that works in, and I'm not gonna be specific, but I was working for a company that is a good company, but like I said, the government works, the companies work, the system works, all right? The system works. The only thing is that the system is corrupted by the corrupted people. See, that's the difference. That's the difference between someone that understands and someone that doesn't. I'm telling you, the system works. But what doesn't work are the people that are involved in the system. They're corrupted in a selfish way where it only benefits them, and they're not seeing that. They're not becoming aware that in that kind of concept, pretty much it messes up the ecosystem. All right, it messes up the ecosystem because, like, let's say you're some rich guy, right? Let's say me, like, for example, let's say I go and I create my government, right? I create my government, I create my system. Me having my people in poverty, how do you think they're gonna look? They think they're gonna look nice, they think they're gonna look appealing to you. They're probably not gonna look nice and appealing to you because of that. And the process that creates an evolution. That creates an evolution thing because then, I know it sounds like, I know it might sound like a little bit dirty, but if the person is a good looking person and they're over there mating with ugly people, then the purpose of evolution is to maximize. See, the purpose of evolution is to maximize the offspring, to get the most out of the offspring, and that's the thing that people are not realizing. See, I've always known that, and that's why. See, I'm gonna get into an explicit. I'm gonna get into an explicit conversation with you guys. All right, but the purpose of it is not explicit. It's just the topic itself. It is, and sometimes what it is what it is, and no matter how they say it, no matter how much you try to sugarcoat it, it still is, what it is. All right. So the purpose of evolution and like mating is, for people to find the best, the best suitor, how they say, or the best mate, to create the best, version for the next generation, and so on and so on. It's pretty much it's meant to be continued. It's meant to continue. All right, and see, when people settle, then they limit that. All right. Now I'm gonna explain to you what I mean by settling. All right. See, this is a concept that some people know about it, right? Some people know about it, other people know about it, but they don't understand what it means. Other people understand what it means. And there's other people that know that, sometimes there is no other way because it's a trap. Alright? So like, let's say you're a baller and you play basketball. Alright? And let's say you suck. Let's say you suck at it. And see, you're always playing with people that play good and they're always like, destroying you, they're always winning you, but you keep going at it. The thing that happens is that eventually you start to eventually you will get better, and eventually you will be able to beat those people. You will be able to pretty much, you will be able to surpass those people because those people are downgrading their game because they're playing against someone that sucks to feel superior. So in the process of that, see, they're testing their skill against someone that is not up to their level. So what happens is that they lose their skill and you gain the skill. See, and that's the thing. That's the thing that happens. See, and this is a real concept. See, it's not like you're stealing away their skill and you're stealing away their powers. It's not that. It's just that because of the time that they invest in dealing with, because of their ego, the time that they invest in letting you boost their ego because they're winning you because you suck and they know that you suck, then they become bad at the game. Alright? Because they fool themselves into thinking that they play really good because they haven't lost a game in like a whole year, but the whole year they've been playing just with that person. So then they suck. And eventually that other person, because the other person keeping at it, the other person is struggling. The other person is stressing now, like, I can't win this person and this and that, and they're stressing, but they're trying. See? The person that's winning, you're not trying because you already know you can win. Alright? So the only thing that you're doing is you're practicing your game. You're letting your game fade away because you're not competing with the top competitors that you were competing with anymore because, if maybe you lost a game and, your ego couldn't take it, then you chose the first competitor that happens, then that's the one you take. That's what happens to people. Alright? So now I'm gonna attempt to excuse me. I'm gonna attempt to relocate the concept into a similar concept but different. Alright? But it's some of excuse me, some of it might make sense. Alright? So what happens is that same concept now for mates, when you go and you see, guys, at least from my point of view, guys go for attractiveness, right? Guys like females that are pretty, they have nice bodies, and after that it varies on the individual, an individual needs of the person, whether it's mental or whether it's genetic. Whether it's mental or genetic is a topic for conversation that it could take more time, and I'll get into it really quick. Alright, so if you're a short girl, something in your genes or in your genetics is going to keep telling you to look for tall guys because, like I said, the purpose of evolution of mating is to create a better offspring, right? So a short girl is going to look for tall guys to mate with them, to give the chance to her offsprings to make sure that they come out taller and make up for whatever qualities that person is lacking. Alright? So in the process of that, then that happens, the short girl finds a tall guy. He doesn't have to be a super tall guy, but at least like if she finds at least a guy that's a little bit taller than her, then to some level, she succeeds because, like I said, the genetics don't work in a controlled manner like that. So, you guys, scientists could try to figure it out and they might find a way, but it's not like that, alright? They want to make you think something that it's not. right? The concept that I'm talking about is it's a slow concept, but it's genetic evolution, right? And a lot of you people know this concept, and you guys see it like with dogs and stuff, where they breed dogs and they get certain dogs, and then you get certain breeds that are kind of useless because they're only for decoration, because that's it's the truth. They don't kind of like. And this is a known concept. This is a known concept in nature. That there's, that's why certain things go extinct. Because a certain combo, sometimes it doesn't have any value to the. A certain combo has no value to the concept sometimes, and when that happens, it doesn't mean that it dies out. It goes extinct for that time, and it'll come back later on. Like it'll come back later on. Like that's the way it works, because like I said, it's evolution. There's evolution in people, and there's evolution in nature. In the world itself. And I don't mean the sphere world. Every time you guys think the world is a spheral world or a disc or a torus, you guys are being manipulated into kind of like thinking of the world as a limit. Like there's a limit to the world. Right, so when I mean the world, I just mean the world. Like, to me, the best way that I could think of it, to get you to understand, don't think of the world. Don't think of the world as a disc or a sphere. All right, think of the world. Think of the world as a tube, like a tube. No, think of the world as a tube, and the length of the tube is the time. All right, and the world that we live in is within that tube. All right, and maybe this will make sense, because if you think about the TV, the TV is a piece of a tube. The TV is a piece. Imagine TV as being a piece of. Imagine TV as being a window. All right, it's not. The TV represents a window, and that window, it represents a piece of that tube being broadcast to you, which is a piece of the world. All right, and the only thing that a lot of the stuff that's being broadcast to you is fake, because it's fake shows. It's fake shows based on real life. And since they're fake shows based on real life, so what they do is they change the situation too much, where even though it makes sense, it doesn't make sense to the actual situation. So then people trying to duplicate that don't get the right reactions, or don't get the right outcome out of that, right? So think of the world as a tube. Then that they just keep going forward. All right, whether you go backwards or not. See, you can go back if you want to, but the world continues to go forward. The world does not go back. You can go back if you want to, but the world does not go back. The world travels forward. All right, and that's the way that I'm explaining the world for you. For you not to let the concept of every time that you hear me say the world, that you imagine a disc or a globe. All right, I'm saying imagine it as just openness. Imagine like an endless park, but it has nothing. It just has grass and trees, and everybody there is the world, right? That's what I mean. That's what I mean by the world. I don't mean the concept. All right, so like I was saying, the world itself evolves, and it has levels, So now imagine that there's water in that too, and imagine that water level is at halfway of the tube, all right, at halfway of the tube, and that's like think of it as that's like the ocean, or that's the current, right? That's the current that we travel on, right? And as that water level rises and it decreases, then pretty much it creates land, and it takes away land, and it creates land, and it takes away land. You guys know this concept, right? You guys know this concept as the water is rising and whatever, but it's not about that, right? So what happens is that you know, every time that changes, and the new life forms take form, because you know, pretty much, if the time will if the time will get if the temperatures of the world will become the same to like before, and all the conditions are met, then they could recreate, they could recreate the environment from before, and they could modify it, they could modify it however they want to. If they really try, like, I mean, really try. They haven't succeeded at it. They want to make people think that they have, but they haven't, right? If they really wanted to, they could. See, if they really wanted to, they wouldn't have to be trying to clone. They wouldn't have to be trying to clone dinosaurs. Because they would understand this concept. So that's how I know they don't understand this concept, because they're trying to clone them instead of recreating it. They're over there trying to clone it. It's a copy. It's not the same, right? And okay, so that's as far as I'm gonna go in for the evolution of the world. And I'm gonna talk about the evolution of like I was saying, mates. Evolving mankind could be evolved scientifically. But scientifically, it has a lot of drawbacks, because scientifically, just like the other way, scientifically, it's all just theory. It's all just theory. It's theory being backed up. Usually, the theory is being backed up by somebody that can't have kids. All right, I'll be honest with you. Right? Somebody that's trying to clone stuff is a person that can't have kids. Their mind is triggering their natural body to pretty much to throw that out there, to throw out, it's the reproduction code. Like I say, it's a reproduction code that they throw in life, that nature throws in life. So then that person trying to do that code, there's two possible outcomes of that code. That one of the possible codes is that he goes and he tries to practice the act, which is he tries to mate with people or females. Some say females if it's a guy, and if it's a female, then with males. But they try to go and practice the act to to fulfill that code. But the thing is that some people, they don't want to. Some people override that code. So then when they do override that code, then that's when they start, with stuff like that, when they start trying to duplicate that. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain? No. If you do, then that's good. Then if you do, then you're gonna find these conversations interesting. And if you don't, then maybe it's gonna get you interested in looking into this stuff, like what I'm talking about. See, this is not something I talk with just anybody. I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to all you guys now. Because like I said, I'm a lonely person and I like being alone. And see, for the longest time I managed to stay off of the grid or the radar, or pretty much I managed to know as very little people as possible, right? I'm not gonna say here and there I do meet people, and here and there I do have interesting conversations, but I usually don't. It's the truth. Usually I don't find people that. See, in all this time I was only able to find one person that I could say that had an interesting conversation, and that was it. And it's just kind of sad that, I just think that's just kind of sad, that from pretty much all the time that I've been going through all this experience, that I started working again. From the entire time that I was working, everybody that I worked with, from all the employees that were there, I was only able to find one person that pretty much that I could say that, because I didn't know him, but I consider him like kind of like it was like a friend. See, and I just think that's sad. That's sad, because then that makes me realize that there's a lot of people that have their because of their other ulterior motives, then they limit themselves. And that's the thing that I realized, that like kind of like at work where I was working at, right away like I said, I worked in a lot of places. If you, if you guys look into me and be like, damn, this guy has done almost like any kind of job that's out there. This guy's fucking like, he's done it. And but yeah, like I worked in so many places, you know. I'm always meeting people, but I try not to get attached to them because, like I said, I like being alone. See, like I like being alone for real. And the only reason you guys are hearing this conversation is because, like I said, I'm about to become homeless, and all this is my kind of like my final attempt to ask for help, and to ask for help from strangers because, like I said, like I don't know anybody, so this is my only this is like my last attempt to ask for help. You know that kind of like I'm struggling to stabilize the living condition. To pretty much I'm struggling to find the right people to pretty much to help me out. And like I don't mean to help me out like to do the work for me, but I mean the right people that wanna see me succeed because they see the benefit that I can provide them. And I've been struggling for a long time, and I know why I'm struggling. I'm struggling because I think I'm a private person. I like to keep to myself. And I'm gonna pause the recording quick, right? And hold on. Yeah, I'll pause it for like right now it's 6:42. I'm gonna pause it for like 2 minutes, right? And right now when I come back, I'll state the time again just for the recording. All right, I'm back on. And the time 6:45. It's still March the 27th. It's Wednesday, and it's still a continuation of the same recording. I think it's tape. I think it might be tape 16 or 17, but it's still a continuation. I'm just restating the time because I paused the recording like very quickly. Right, so hopefully I could pick up back where I was. So pretty much like all this time, I don't talk to people like this. Like I don't talk with people like this because, you know, they don't ever give me the right vibe, or they don't ever give me the right like kind of like feedback. They're always like, I feel like I'm always being like for real. It's like I always feel like everywhere I go, like I feel like they're always hitting me up like all the time nonstop, and you guys don't understand. And that's a fucked up world because, like I said, like I like being alone and I like keeping to myself. But like everywhere I go, I feel like everywhere I go, like they're always hitting me up, and you know, like you know what I mean by hitting me up, right? Like I don't mean like they go out of the way, but like I mean like let's say I go to work, you know, like let's say I'm working and there's guys there and they always got that for some reason they always gotta come at me all hardcore and shit like that. And I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, you're at work. Stop fucking thinking that you're hardcore because no matter what, they got you controlled. And that's the thing that I don't know if that's the game that they play. I don't know if they're like little kids and that's the game that they play, or if they're trying to kind of get me to be a certain way. But that's what I see. Right, and another thing that I see is kind of like guys are like assholes with me because they want to make me think that that's the way that they are, so that I can go and be an asshole with the females too. But I don't because I really don't. Like I said, I really don't. Females and me, we don't mix, right? And that sucks because before I had a lot of female friends, like before, like I used to have a lot of female friends. I had, you know, because of all the relationship stuff, you know. And I mean like female friends, like I mean like actual friends, you know. And because of all the relationship stuff, you know, as kind of like as we grew into it, you know, everybody kind of like, you know, kind of like everybody went out of their own way, and like pretty much like when people don't like if like if you know me, like if you let's say you're part of my life, I know you're not, but like if you're part of my life, and you drift away from me, I'm not gonna go after you. Like, yeah, I mean, like, even if we're like, even if we're super cool, then I'm not, because that's not the game that I play. You know, if you kick it with me and you drift away from me, then that's the way it happened. And it's not because I don't care, and it's not because I care. It's just, like I said, it's everybody makes their own choice. So if you drift away, then you drift away, and that's it. And like I said, like, for females, usually I don't approach females because I already know what that's about. Any female that I approach, right away she thinks that I'm trying to hit her up, that I just want to do her, and that's not the case. And I understand why. I understand that. See, I believe that males and females cannot be friends, like just friends. Like, I honestly believe that, right? And I've always told, like I said, but this is gonna keep coming up in this conversation because, like I said, I'm a loner type of person, and I wouldn't ever speak to anybody like this because, like I said, most people don't. Like I said, most people don't give me the time, or they always try to hit me up into something like stupid, and I don't play those games. So I just kind of like tune them out and just like walk away from them, and I'll try to avoid them as much as possible. Like, I'll still talk to them and stuff. Like, at work, at work, there's people that I don't know, they think they're cool. I don't know, they think they're funny. Like, I'm not saying they're not cool, and I'm not saying they're not funny, but kind of like while I was working. See, I like all types of people. Like, I mean it. Like, I love all types of people. like I used to tell Bertha this playing around, but I was being serious, and she knew I was being serious because, like I said, our relationship was like a friendship, right? But it was a one-sided friendship, and I knew it. But since, like, I have no friends, I chose to, since we have a son together, I chose to accept her as my friend, even though I knew I wasn't her friend, right? And that's like, this is like real talk. So if it sounds like I start to whisper a little bit, it's because there's like stuff going on around the apartments, and like there's people around, and like I'm not trying to have this conversation with people in person. Chances are that me and you, if you know me now from Facebook, chances are that me and you are never gonna have a conversation like this because I don't talk to people like this. Like, it's very rare for people to make the situation where they allow me to get comfortable enough for me to talk to them like that, because, like I said, they're always hitting me up. They're always hitting me up to something that it's not. And once they do that, if you're the kind of person that I don't want to be friends with, it's nothing personal. But if you're the kind of person that I want to connect with you, you're not gonna get me to socialize with you, right? That's it. You're not. I don't care. People have done it to me all the time. They do it. They go out of their way and they try to like force a situation where they create the issue for me to, pretty much to kind of like force my hand to have to. But like I said, I'm about to become homeless because I choose to struggle. I choose to struggle and believe that I'll find somebody that'll help me out eventually to the way that I want to do things. Then to live a lie disguised as a comfortable life, but really it's just a fucked up life where you have to go to work every day, work a sucky job that you don't like, and work a sucky job that, with people that you might not like, because it's just the way it is. It's not because nothing personal, sometimes it's not personal, it's just sometimes the combination of people just don't mix, and and they don't understand that, and a lot of people just put up with it because they don't want to be whacked, they don't want to feel whacked, and because of the social pressure that is involved with sociality. But like me, like see, like I sweat a lot, like me, like naturally, like, so when I go out in public places, like, people get me hot, like just being around people, like I could feel their heat, like I could feel their body heat, and they get me hot. And I know it's gonna sound crazy, but like, it's like I know what they're thinking and all that. Like, I could hear them, like, I can hear them when they talk, and I'm like, that's what I'm trying to say. And a lot of people, are gonna like, a lot of people. I know what a lot of people are gonna think on that, alright? And like I said, it's not a conversation that I would have with you in person. See, this is a conversation that Bertha knows. You know, Bertha. See, Bertha is the only one that knows. Bertha's the only one that knows me like this, right? Like I'm saying, like like I said, I made a choice. I made a choice back in like 2004, 2005 to befriend her, even though, but that's because for many reasons, and one of the main reasons was because because of my son, and you know, I made a choice to pretty much, I made a choice to trust her. Like I said, even though I know I shouldn't have trusted her, and I had to, because I had to try to make it work as much as possible just for my son. And I did. Like I don't think I did a bad job. Like it sucks. It sucks the way it happened. But if I wouldn't have done things the way I did it, I would have lost Bertha earlier on, like to another person, to anybody, because like I said, it's not about the Dominex 2122. It's not about you, bro. If it ends up like that, it's just because she settled for something. She settled for something to not end up with anything. But it wasn't about you. She was fucking up. She was messing around at work, and she tried to use you as a way to start something else. And you didn't man up fast enough, bro. That's it. You didn't man up fast enough. That's what I'm trying to say. You didn't man up fast enough to, yeah, you might have done her, but I guess you didn't get her pregnant right away, and I guess you didn't do your job fast enough. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's not hate talk. Like I said, I have nothing against you. I know people think that I should, but I have nothing against you because I will play with you. Even after I knew you were kicking it with her, like I would still try to socialize with you. You're the one that, and I have proof. I have proof where you kicked me out of the servers just because I was winning you and you couldn't handle that because it bothers you because you could read my IP and you know it's me and you know that I'm playing a fair game. And like I said, it wasn't about you. She tried to make it about you because she was trying to get me to hate the game. She was trying to get me to get off of that game because she was trying to get me to get off of YouTube because for her own reasons. Alright, for her own reasons. And when your situation came along, she tried to take advantage of it for her own reasons too, to benefit herself. Right? She's seen it as an opportunity to get me off of YouTube. Right? And that's the reality. Right? It's not hater talk. Right? So now I'm gonna jump back to the conversation. For all the listeners, I need you guys to understand that this is not hater talk. Right? The purpose of this conversation is because like I'm really trying to get something out of that. Pretty much all the stuff that I did, it was for a purpose, right? So like what I was talking about earlier on about the kind of like the genetic evolution, that it's a genetic evolution, it's a more natural genetic evolution. So because it's more natural, it has a higher chance of it. To succeed and stabilize or whatever. That's why they have issues with clones and stuff. If all the stuff that they talk about, if they clone people and they manage to do it, they let's say they do, they might, but then they glitch out. Like they glitch out, and I don't mean they glitch out. I mean like they kind of get self-destruct, and I don't mean self-destruct like when a person goes crazy. I mean like pretty much, it's kind of like they melt away. Kind of like you guys know what I mean, right? Or they become unstable, like like I'm talking like kind of like molecules, how they become unstable and they separate. But in the process of the separation right there, the only thing that happens is they just disintegrate. Like they just disintegrate, And the one that I'm talking about natural genetic engineering, which is, pairing up, with what you're lacking to. All right, so like I was saying, a tall girl, a short girl looking for a tall guy to get her genetic gene pool to pretty much, she wants her offspring to grow. She wants her offspring to be taller because, because of the society, that person is, that person is off balance in what they can do. The only thing that, in nature, for dirty reasons, the guys, I'm talking for dirty reasons, for sexual reasons, for men that want to feel like, dominant and control the female like that, for those men, they go after the short girls, the short female, the short female adult girls. And in the same process, it might overlap to something else. If you guys understand what I'm trying to hint at this, all right. So in the same process, they go for the short girls, the short adult females, right? Because of the sexual reasons, which is that they could lift them up and, like I said, I know this conversation is gonna get a little bit explicit, but it's not about that. They could lift them up and they could like smash them down hard and whatever, and the women like it too. Because the women like it too. It's it's a give and take, ladies. You guys can't be saying you're not like that, and most of the porn is about women, so it just doesn't make sense. The majority of the women out there. See, if the majority of the women, if not every woman now, has been broadcasted on porn by her own choice. See, the ones that do it by their own choice is the ones that allowed us to get recorded. All right. Whether you were okay with them uploading it or not, that's not the point, right? I'm not saying that that's okay, but I'm saying that it was your own choice because you allowed yourself to get recorded, right? For the ones that get, like if you got spied on or you got recorded without your knowledge, that's illegal activity and that wasn't your choice, so that's different, right? So that's a little bit different, but if you're not smart enough or fast enough to understand the concept, then they could suck you into the same concept. They could suck you into pretty much into that world, because it's kind of like they forced you into it, but without literally forcing you in. Do you guys get what I mean? All right. See, the only way that I'm gonna use this as an example is like, supposedly there's a porn out there for Shakira, the singer, and supposedly they kind of like they went out of their way to make sure that video gets blocked, right? I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not, because I haven't done any research on it. It's just something that is a conversation that I found in something else. But supposedly, kind of like it's kind of like it has government backup, from her native homeland, and I know they do that. That's why they do the region lock. You guys know region lock, right? Region lock is when if you're buying an imported CD or DVD, if you don't have a device that can play it, you're not gonna be able to play it, because they purposely change the code in the system to not allow certain stuff to play, because each part of the world is at a different state. It's different state of evolution. So the European side, they want to make everybody think that the American side is more advanced, but the American side is not more advanced. The American side is just more. It's gone through more rotations. That's what I mean. Like, it's gone through more rotations and more restarts, and kind of like the European side is. The European side has a lot of kind of like original content. Like, and I don't mean original like the way that they use original, like, oh yeah, that's original stuff. But like, I mean, they have the original content. They have a lot of the original information that and obviously, you're thinking it might make sense, because the Vatican's there. The Vatican is like a universal library, but they don't want you to know it, right? There's a high chance that the Vatican is the Library of Alexandria, and they moved it, and they made people think they destroyed it, but they just moved it, and they don't want people to know that because then that library was supposed to be open to to the public, and technically it still is, but you gotta have credentials and permits to be able to access stuff from it, or you gotta have authorization, because once you have authorization, then they could jump into your research and see what you're doing, and if they see that what you're doing is something that they're working on, then one or two, they'll try to block you or they'll try to discourage you, but they'll keep track of you. They'll keep track of you because they want to see if you can figure it out. And that's the thing that I'm saying. Why can't they just embrace that? See, like me, why can't they just embrace that? I belong to be working in the government. I belong to be working in. I belong to be working in NASA. I don't say deserve. I belong to be working in NASA and all that, because I understand what they're doing. I understand what they're doing, right? And it has to do with third party concept, and that's all I gotta say to. That's all I gotta say to that, right? Like NASA and all the wars, like I understand what they're doing, and a lot of it is for data. A lot of it's for data and for elements. See, anybody in government that knows, if you're hearing this conversation, a lot of the wars that happen, if they happen, because they're just in the history books. There were a lot of wars that happen and all the destruction that happened. You guys were looking for an element, or you guys are still looking for certain elements, and that was the only way that you guys figured out that you guys could recreate or try to recreate those elements, right? That's what I'm trying to say, right? And I know this sidetracks off a lot from the other conversation that I started, but it doesn't, right? It does, but it doesn't, because it's part of it, right? And I'm gonna speak about it quickly, what it's about. A lot of people are not gonna believe this, but they're trying to create an element, and I'm not gonna be specific to what element. They're trying to recreate an element, and the way that the scientists have formulated the formula, there's this element that they can't figure out what the element is, and somebody threw out the conclusion that the element is mankind. All right. So somebody threw out the conclusion that in order for them to achieve that element, they need humans. Like human sacrifice, and like literally like they need human bodies, but they need human bodies alive. That's the way the person that threw out the research. They need human bodies alive in order, because everything reacts different. See, you've heard this concept in like plants. Plants. Botanists are people that dedicate themselves to like the study of plant. Right? And those people will tell you that how you cut up a plant makes a big difference on its chemicals that it releases. And the thing is that for that element that they're looking for, or elements, they need humans. Right? They need humans, and that's where it gets complicated to do that study, because they're not opposed to doing it, but it's just that the people that are doing it, they gotta be able to withstand it, right? Like I'm gonna bring in the conversation to let's say a cycle, like somebody that just kills and kills and kills, Let's say they're the ones doing that experiment, and see, they gotta be able, their mind has to be able to withstand that experiment non-stop. See people being blown up, and pretty much picking up all the pieces and going back and picking up the resources and trying to collect that data, and for stuff like that, there's only so many times that they're gonna get allowed to do it, because other than that, then they run out of people, and they can't run out of people because they need the people for that concept. And see, so they've tried this before. They tried it before, and if you're smart enough and you look in the history books and you pay attention to what I'm being specific, you'll recognize what I mean. In the past, on different occasions, they have tried to to recreate this element that they're trying to create. And somebody figured, I'm not saying they figured it out. That's not what I'm saying. The word figured does not mean that they figured it out. That just means a conclusion. Somebody figured that it needs human bodies in it. Alright? But they don't know how it needs the human bodies involved. So the best way that they took it was to make it as a kind of like a chemical reaction. Right? And I don't want to be specific too, but think of the chemical reaction. You're the molecule, and the atom has to be a circle, and they have to create some kind of reaction to fuse that. So then that's me giving you the kind of like showing you, kind of giving you the information on what is it that they're trying to do with that, and why is it that kind of like certain stuff in history happened. And you're not gonna find this in any book. All right, you're not gonna find this in any book. You could try, and you could look. The only thing that you're gonna find in the books is you're gonna be able to find the information that I'm telling you to be able to confirm all this. All right. Yeah. So the thing I was talking about that goes back to genetic engineering for humans is that a female that reproduces with the taller guy, they might, because it's always a 50-50, or I'm saying 50-50 because 50-50 is fair. Okay, 50-50 is 50-50 is all there is. 50-50 is the difference between yes and no. 50-50 is the difference between a 0 and a 1. And you could choose to get more scientific to like, oh no, actually it's 25.5555, but you're just making up those numbers, all right? And you know it, all right? You could calculate certain stuff. You could keep deducing it to a non-stop level, just to try to prove someone that they're wrong, but they're not wrong, all right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to prove anybody to be wrong. I'm just saying that what they're doing, they're not doing it right, and see, that's part of it, right? So then, like I said, 50-50, there's a chance that the offspring might grow taller. There's a chance that it might not. There's a chance that it might be in between. There's a chance that it might not make any difference, all right? And that's the same applies for both, but the only difference is that because of the earlier conversation that I said that, the males prefer, well, some males prefer, not all of them, but the males that are just looking for fun prefer the shorter ladies because they just want to like toss them around and stuff, in a dirty way. Like I'm being like, I know it sounds explicit, ladies, but you like it according to all the videos that are out there. You guys like it because if you guys didn't like it, then why would all those videos be out there, right? And I know that a lot of you guys say that it's because you were going to college and you guys are trying to provide yourself, but that's just an excuse that they put there for you to be able to use. And when you take it and they know the kind of person you are, and I'm sorry, but like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Because like I said, I like women. Women have nice bodies, and if they want to do that and put themselves out there, for me to watch them and other people to watch them, then that's their choice. And like I said, for the guys that are over there, messing around with the shorter ladies to, for the sexual pleasure of the visual. I'm saying just the visual, because it's sexual. See, there's a difference between sexual pleasure of the body, and there's a difference between sexual pleasure of the visual. The visual is of the eye. Sexual pleasure can be triggered through what you see or what I make you see. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. That sexual pleasure is always in play. It's always out there because everybody's on a different time scale. You having sex right now doesn't mean that everybody has sex right now. All right. So for you, you might be okay right now. You might not be thinking sexual stuff, but everybody else that has it, they might. So they're out there in the world. That's I've always told Bertha this. People that are out there, they like being out there because they're out there looking for an opportunity to continue. See, the ones that don't is because they don't try. But if it happens, they'll take it, right? That's the way it happens. So, I always told Bertha this. Like I have a hard, like I say, I have a hard time meeting people, and I have a hard time with a lot of stuff because of the way that I am. Like one of the main things that I have is that I can't eat in public. I can't eat comfortable in public. I just can't, And part of it is because I know that there's dirty-minded people that they get turned on by that. They get turned on by seeing somebody eat because they imagine the vagina. They imagine the mouth to be the vagina, and they imagine the food being, like they see it as perverting this. They see it as something entering the hole, and I just speak for that reason. I find it really hard to. I find it really hard to eat in public, and on top of that, I know that they have that dating rule that pretty much if you go out with a girl on a date and you guys eat together, that means that you guys are gonna go and have sex because you guys are triggering for you to meet up with somebody. Like I've always told this to Bertha, and she wanted to pretend like it wasn't like that, but I understand why. See, and I always told this to Bertha, when people meet up with people, it's because they're interested, right? They're interested, and I don't care. I don't care if you think you're playing them. That's just an excuse for the person to play the game in case they get hurt, so they could say they were just like trying to play them and whatever. Okay, but that's just an excuse, and this is true. So for that reason, I have a hard time eating in public because I just can't. Like, I'm not saying that I can't, but I won't enjoy it. There's an issue that me and Bertha have a lot. That since she's more like I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean it in that way, but I guess she's more sexually hyper than me. Then she always wanted to be out there, like going out to eat. See, a lot of people don't know this, but when your lady keeps insisting that she wants to go out and eat, it's just because she just wants to go and look at good-looking guys, and that's a reality. And it applies to everybody. See? If you're in a couple and you guys don't have your own place, you guys are constantly eating out, and it's a little bit more understanding and acceptable as it's not like that, possibly. If you have your own place, and you find yourself always eating out with your female, or for the females too, if you find yourself always eating out with your male, and it's not by your choice, then I'm letting that's what's going on. They're in a situation where they want to look for somebody. They're being lazy about it, and they use you as bait, male and female. It goes to both sides. They use you as bait to trigger jealousy. See, so when you guys are in a place, like let's say, I'm gonna say McDonald's, because it's everywhere, so it's gonna be easy for you guys to understand this. Right? So if you guys are at McDonald's, see, everyone that is there that is eating, you're technically eating with them. Alright? So that means that technically for that second, you guys are in a possible loop to mate with each other, because all of you guys are technically on a date right there. And you guys don't see it like that. See, but I'll make the connection to you right now. You're out with some friends and you're eating at McDonald's in a group. No. Because I always saw friends. See, I always saw friends as two things. people you can't get rid of from your life, or people that are potential candidates to mate occasionally, but you don't want nothing serious with them and they don't want nothing serious with you, and that's okay. See, those are like I said, those are the single people. Those are the people that just be single and that's their choice, right? And of course, there's couples that choose to be couples, which is more exclusive, but they're swingers, right? And that's the same concept. But like I said, that's their choice. They're making a fair choice, and it's being provided as a choice, not that one's doing and the other one's, pretty much not knowing about it, even though they might know about it. But then, you guys know what I mean, right? So when you're out there in public eating, technically you're eating with all those people there, and technically your spouse or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever, they're watching everybody else and they're getting turned on by everybody else at the same time. And it works both ways. Everybody else is getting turned on by your girl, everybody else is getting turned on by your guy, and you guys are all having this is the way I see it, right? You guys are all having like a massive like eating orgy right there, and you guys are all there stuffing each other's holes and enjoying the visual pleasure of it. And for that reason, I have a hard time eating in public. For that reason, I tend not to eat with anybody because I'm not trying to trigger that to them. Like, I'm not. And that's another reason that I have a hard time at work. That whenever that happens, then people start obsessing over me over that. And like the last place that I was working at, and anybody that hears this conversation that follows me, I didn't befriend you. See, I didn't go out there befriending you. So you befriended me under a false alias or a false name and a false image, kind of like, you brought yourself into the situation, because I didn't, like I said, I don't befriend. See, my Facebook account is separate from everything else. My Facebook account, I did it separate from the Warhawk stuff. I do it separate from my work. Facebook, I do it separate from my real life. All right. If it overlaps eventually, then that's okay. If it's the way that I want it. But on Facebook, but the purpose of the Facebook thing is that pretty much when my relationship ended with Berta, then like I said, she literally broke up with me because I already know her pattern. Like, I already know the way she is, and I didn't want her to come back to me. Like, I didn't want her to come back. Like, pretty much, I don't want her to show up. Like, once I have something started, because once I have something started, it's like I don't want her part of my life no more. And it's nothing bad. It's just she chose not to be part of it, and that's okay. Like I said, it's nothing bad. But like I said, I tend not to keep friends, or at least I haven't till now. I've been trying to, like I said, I've been trying to, but at distance, because like I said, I still like being alone, and I know that all these situations are situations where it's meant to kind of like force you. So when you hit these situations, you have to be really careful, because certain people are gonna know that you're in those situations, and they're gonna be counting on you to pretty much to approach. See, so for that reason, I'm gonna give you some tips, and in order for that reason, you cannot work with people that work in close range of your situation. So pretty much anybody around, like right here in the city that I live, or the town, or the apartments, I can't ask them for help because they were part of the situation. They've been monitoring, our situation for the time that we've been here, because it doesn't mean that you have to be monitoring, like you have to be nosy and like watching them, but a repetitive routine, if someone's paying attention, you can pick up a lot of information on that person. See? And you don't need to go anywhere. Simply, something as simple as you being in your apartment or in your house, and you look out the window and you see, oh, look at the neighbor, it's 5, the neighbor gets home at 5. Oh, look at it's 6, the neighbor goes to work at 6. I just heard his car, and oh, look at the other lady, it's already 7:30 and she's waking up because she has to go take her kids to school. See? And all those opportunities, if I wanted to, or anybody that wanted to, those are opportunities that anybody that knows this, they could wait for you there and try to trick you into thinking that, hey, look at what coincidence, you're taking off to work and not taking off to work, and they could use it as an excuse to get involved in your personal life. And once that happens, and they're like, oh, you work at so and so, and oh yeah, you work at so, oh, that's cool. And the conversation starts, oh, I'm looking to switch over to a new job, and then in friendships and everything, everybody always tries to portray the best, and that's a fault, because when you're trying to portray your best, then you don't show who you really are. So then you end up working with people that you have nothing in common with. You have nothing in common, or you guys can't connect like that, and that's the negative thing about that. And the negative thing about that is that, like I said, this is kind of like the the Watchers theory that I'm throwing out there. That it's been out there for a long time, but it's kind of like they put it as a joke, but not really. But that relates to the Watchers theory, because if you live in a neighborhood, then you know that those neighborhoods have those signs where they have like neighborhood watch, and those signs, the thing that they're telling you that they're letting you know that people are nosy and that people watch, and because it's a neighborhood, those people are living the repetitive routines, so they know who passes there and they know who doesn't pass there. If they see you passing through there, then they know that you don't pass there usually. See? And if you keep passing by, and they start acknowledging it, they start like looking into it. And if you pass by enough times, then those people can't let it go, and they start obsessing, and then it starts becoming into another thing, which starts becoming like stalking. And that's the thing that I'm trying to say. Everybody that works a routine is vulnerable to all that. And you guys don't want to see it like that, and that's okay, but it's the reality. It's like when I see when I see guys, I'm gonna say this because I see it from guys, because that's the way that that's the way the guys set up the routine, because they know that other guys won't participate, and that's what they're counting on. Or if they set up the routine like that because they want the women to be dumb or what. But like, I see this about guys. This is the rationality that I think pretty much kind of like, like me and you meet up in the street, we're walking by, and you're a female, because I'm saying you're a female because I'm a male, and you like me and I like you enough, and we choose to talk. Then if it's truly just random, then that's cool, but if it's not random, then that's a setup, that's a setup, and that's a plot. That's a setup and that's a plot, because if it's a plot, it's a plot. It can be considered kind of illegal, because you're kind of like, they might not take it like that, but you're luring them into a situation that normally they wouldn't go for it. And I understand there's that concept, which I understand that pretty much you can't force somebody to do something they're not willing to already do, and I get that. But what I'm trying to say, is that concept has a negative effect on the people that are working, because I've seen it been done. People lose their jobs because of that. Because if you're like I'm not saying being a good girl does not mean that you're innocent. All right, being a good girl does not mean that you're innocent. There's people that don't find sex. There's people that don't find sex like nothing. To them, to certain people, sex is just a commodity, and a lot of people don't understand that. But a lot of people, sex is just a commodity. It's just something that, you know, it's there and it happens sometimes. And if it does, it does. You know, some people don't care for it. You know, because either it happens for them too much that, you know, or they just don't care for it. But for some people, sex is a commodity, and you know, some people don't understand that. So some people are not trying to play people for that. Some people are trying to play people for other people or for other purposes, which is more kind of like more. That's where I say the word plot, because it's already right there. It's already like you're being sucked into a plan, and you being sucked into a plan. I know that in legal situations, it has other things about it that I don't want to get too much into it because it's not about that, but it kind of is, right? Now I'm gonna talk about bonds, right? And I'm gonna split the conversation into another recording just for because it's a little bit different. It's still related, but it's a little bit different. And just to make it easier, if these recordings get used for the purpose that I'm saying, or any of it, so that it's easier for you to categorize the information and pretty much separate the audios if you want to re-edit it.